Our second reading comes from the 19th chapter of Luke. As the crowd was listening to Jesus, he added a parable to relay because he was near Jerusalem and because they thought the reign of God was about to appear immediately. Thus Jesus said, "A high-born person went to a distant country to receive their royal authorization and then returned. This person summoned 10 of their overseers and gave them 10 gold mina coins and said to them, 'Tend to business until I come back.' But the citizens of their country hated this person and sent an envoy following, saying, 'We do not want this person to rule over us.' And it was as in returning, having received royal authority, this person ordered these overseers, to whom had been given the money, to be summoned in order to find out what profit they had made. The first came forward and said, 'Highness, your gold coin has made 10 more gold coins.' Then this person said to the overseer, 'Well done, because in little you have been trustworthy. Take over 10 cities.' And the second overseer came, saying, 'Highness, your gold coin has made 5 gold coins.' Then this person said to the overseer, 'And you, be over 5 cities.' Then another overseer came, saying, 'Highness, this is your gold coin. I wrapped and stored it in a handkerchief, for I was afraid of you, because you are a harsh person. You take what you did not deposit, and you reap what you did not sow.' This person said to the overseer, 'I will judge you by your own words, you wicked lout. You knew that I was a harsh person, taking what I did not deposit and reaping what I did not sow. Why then did you not put my money on the banker's table? So I, when I returned, could have collected it with interest.' And then this person said to the bystanders, 'Take that gold coin and give it to the one who has 10 gold coins.' And the citizen said to this person, 'Highness, that overseer has 10. I tell you, to all those who have, more will be given. But from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. But as for these enemies of mine who did not want me to reign over them, bring them here and slaughter them in my presence.'"
And I promise you, that's not about stewardship. The royal, I sense, from the time of birth, believed they were special. Everyone doted around the child. Everyone did everything. This one was special. And growing up special sometimes, sort of get an elevated sense of ego. Well, I'm a little better than you. That I'm going to be something someday. Even if I don't meet the marks of the world, I am still going to be special, and I will prove it. Perhaps the parents had sort of instilled that within them because there was a little bit of royal blood running through them. And who doesn't like to be king or queen, a noble? Now, Americans, or at least this American here, I have a fascination with royalty. I have a fascination with the English monarchy. Now, I don't want a king or a queen, but it's just some of the pomp and circumstance, sort of the beauty of coronations, the trumpets blaring. But this kid really liked all that. And with time, with age, the one who had been sitting as ruler passed on, and it was time for the special kid, now grown up, to be king or queen, if you will. But here's the thing. There was just a little bit of royalty, not a whole lot of royal blood. And so off they trotted with entourage on to higher powers so they could diplomatically ask, can I be king or queen? For you see, there was really no freedom in that area in which the special one had been born and grew up. It was just occupied with a larger power in charge. And so you just couldn't go off and say, I am now the king or queen of this area. You had to go ask for permission. And so they went. And while there, diplomacy worked, and this person became the ruler of the smaller area, but only with permission, that is. And so this one claims power, but the interesting thing is, no one wanted this kid to ever be ruler or king or queen or monarch or president. This one would make things so much harder or continue with ways that were not the ways of God. And with coronation perhaps on the scene soon, how would coronation be special when there are those who say, we don't want you, stay away, we're glad you left. No, it's not just ego here. It's a little bit of like, how dare you? And plans were already boiling in their mind. I will get even with you no matter what. Don't cross me. Don't speak bad about me. Just do as I say. Now, before the entourage had ever left, this is where we get into the story, really. It's where we start passing around gold coins. And the story sounds familiar, doesn't it? For Matthew tells a similar story with a little bit more gentle ending, but not really much better. And sometimes that's where we come up with stewardship sermons about talents. But still, those who have everything, they're given more, and those who have been struggling, the rug is pulled out from under them in both stories. This one goes an extra step. Out of anger and out of ego busting, if you will, this one declares, everyone who doesn't like me, you're treasonous, you have done this, get out of my sight, and the powers roll over them and clears the way to make the one with all the ego not have to feel there's any dissent. And then there are the three overseers. But I like the third one the best. For the third one, perhaps, is the most loyal to the ideas of what God and God's realm may be like. It's not one where the power of the world gets its way, but sometimes the subversive gospel, if you will, is lived out. Well, you might give me this coin, but I am going to wrap it up and put it to the side because I know how you are. If I invest it and do well, I'll get more, and you'll give me power but it's not the power I would want. So in this subversive act, the narcissism of this royal is pushed to the side, saying, I am not going to participate in a system that puts all of God's creation under your foot. Sometimes the gospel, the Bible, we too are called at times to be subversive. Now, it comes in different ways, my friends. Sometimes it's just standing up and say, I will go no further. If the world goes this way, I'm going to go this way. For I can see that the power of money, the power of politics, isn't about having your way, but it's the power to uplift those who are burdened. When I first read today's reading from the Gospels, I wondered, or I thought, thank goodness we are not a church here where we end the reading saying, this is the word of God, and everyone responds, thanks be to God. For it sort of rubbed me a little the wrong way here, for this is not what we usually preach and teach. That if you have more, good for you, you're going to get more, and if you are struggling, well, the struggle is going to get harder. We believe in sort of a balancing where all God's people are involved. Yet here we are. And I believe that Jesus is not quite in today's parable. Jesus is not the one that goes off and asks for power and comes back. Jesus is not the one who invests. Jesus tells a story, for if we remember from what we heard, Jesus moves out in his way to Jerusalem. Now, folks were expecting, with Palm Sunday on the scene, that Jesus would be the royal that would finally change the world. But Jesus tells them this story to remind them that God's reign is not like the human one. That Jesus will not be a part of human schemes. And also, I can almost feel a bit of parody and sarcasm. And if you really want sarcasm, if we put the reading from 1 Corinthians in context, Paul is not praising the Corinthians. He's being really sarcastic. Well, haven't you done really good? You're such great supporters, but here we are in prison. You have done so well. You've become so wise. Yet, the ones of living out the gospel truth are suffering. My friends, Cole Arthur Riley, in her book, Black Liturgies, Prayers, Poems, and Meditation for Staying Human, writes the following, quote, "You are the descendant of a mystical force, subversive power. You who are still breathing, dreaming, do not exhaust yourself trying to prove your humanity to those who have no interest in remaining human themselves. Do not petition what's written in your bones, claim it, an interior and creative power. As we wait for the tyrants of this world to be cast out at last, as we wait for compassion and care to take her seat and push the world back on its axis." Sometimes the cost of discipleship is really a cost. Sometimes for some it has meant they have lost their lives. Martin Luther King Jr. Oscar Romero, women unnamed, people who have stood there and dared go a way that would not be God's will for humanity. My friends, what's the cost for you? How far will you go? Will you be the one that might have some of the inheritance of power's grasp, but you set it aside and you give it back, for it's not of this world? And my friends, you are not of the world as we know it. You are the change agents